Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here and we are live, of course, for another episode of the Ferret Cafe Podcast. I hope everyone is having a good week, or a good day, or whenever you're listening to this, I hope it's a good one. Ferret Cafe, of course, we are live here every Thursday at 8 p.m. to just shoot the shit, see what happens, talk about some stuff. My plans for this episode, we had to switch gears a little bit late in the planning process. So Jeopardy is going to be next episode in 2 weeks. I apologize for anyone who was really excited for that, but we gotta pause, put it on hold for 2 weeks with good reason, of course. But today I have a few topics that have been on my mind here, and we will get started with those in a minute. But I hope everyone's having a good day. Hope everyone's been having a good week here. I just had Melt today, which is a sandwich place here in my area. It's pretty much an Ohio staple. So if you don't know what it is, Melt. It's pretty much it's based off of grilled cheeses, but not every sandwich is grilled cheese, right? So you got the basic grilled cheese, but then you also have the Monte Cristo, which is ham and cheese and stuff. And today I had it's called the Wet Hot Buffalo sandwich, which is blue cheese, coleslaw, and buffalo chicken between 2 pieces of bread. Oh, I forgot to mention the Monte Cristo is actually deep fried all the way. It's pretty good. They've definitely grown and changed throughout the years. So some of the stuff that I used to get is no longer on the menu, unfortunately. But they used to do these really fun monthly sandwiches. They still do have a few that are kind of fun. There's the Cowabunga sandwich, which is Hot Pockets with some sort of aioli or whatever it's called, pesto. So it's 2 pieces of bread, pesto, Hot Pockets, not Hot Pockets, pizza bites. Those little pizza pockets. You know what I'm saying? And then they had I think it's chicken or something in there. Yeah, it was alright. But one of my favorite sandwiches they have is called the Firecracker. It's got Jamaican spices on it with slices of pineapple and avocado. That's a July staple. That's a good one. Then they also have fried macaroni and cheese inside of a sandwich. It's all really good. So I'm very full right now, as sometimes I do be for these podcasts. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, please sit back, relax. We're going to discuss some stuff today. And the first thing that I want to talk about is something that I've been noticing get worse and worse as I continue my on-the-road career, and that is bathroom etiquette. And I hope that I never have to spell etiquette for the rest of my freaking life after this podcast, because no matter how many times I look at it, no matter how many times I spell check it, I never spell it right. And I have to, the little red line appears underneath it, It's hey, you spelled this wrong, dipshit. Oh, really? The English language is not as easy as I perceived. I've been speaking it my whole life, and there's still things that amaze me. Etiquette sounds like it should be spelled Eddie, so E-D-I, Kate, C-A-T-E. No. It's E-D-I-Q-U-E-T-T-E or something like that. I think I still spelled it wrong, even though I just literally put it as the title for the Twitch stream. So, yeah, I mean, I frequent bathrooms on my dailies. Usually, I guess we should start all the way back when I first started this job. I could hold my pee for the entire day, but as I've gotten older, as you do, gotta go pee a little bit more often. So now I have to take a pee break in the middle of my day, which is usually just around lunchtime. So it's not even that bad, right? And I've been frequenting bathrooms at gas stations mostly. It's mostly Sheetz. If you don't know, I'm a big Sheetz fan. I don't like tots in my burritos, but I think that for gas station food, it's good enough, you know. I switch around some things on my palate, of course. Sometimes I'll get like the peanut butter and jelly jamwich, and then Doritos, or sometimes I'll get like the chicken tenders with the boom boom sauce. Sometimes I'll get the chicken wrap or the chicken sandwich with mozzarella sticks. It's all decently good, and it's none of it's like good for you, but it's decently made and whatever for microwavable food from a gas station. And usually if I'm going to go somewhere to eat, I'll go to Sheetz, because I spend like $10 there and I get a full lunch essentially. Not every day, but you know, most of the time. And yeah, I get, you know, I'm a human. I gotta use the restroom when I go there. So that's one of the first things I do when I walk in the door. I go right to the bathroom. And the state of bathrooms nowadays is very weird. It's almost I don't know if the staff just isn't cleaning them as often as they should, or people have just gotten extra disgusting. You would think that they wouldn't get more disgusting, especially after the pandemic, but you know, whatever. But I've noticed that bathroom etiquette has kind of gone downhill a bit recently. I've always been in the mindset of, if I'm using a public restroom, you leave it the way that you found it, right? Which means, like, if there's not piss on the toilet, don't leave your piss on the toilet. Or if there's not toilet paper on the floor, don't leave toilet paper on the floor, right? This is obviously not something that everyone goes by, but I try my best not to dirty up the bathroom any more than when I walked in, you know. The first place to start would be bathroom stalls. If you've walked into a public restroom with like a row of like eight toilets, every so often you'll go in there and there'll be some crazy shit going on. Like, not like crazy as in like some dude drugged up like dancing on a toilet. Maybe that'll happen one day. I don't know. But usually it's like just sounds coming from the stalls, or like just people having full blown conversations while they're on the toilet taking craps. And yeah, I would say rule one is, like, if you're in a public restroom and there's other people coming in and out, like, leave the conversation to when you get out of the bathroom. I don't know how weird or crazy that is for me to say, but I've had it where, like, there's like a group of dudes are in there and they're just all having a conversation over their stalls. And then the one time I walked in, there was like a group of, like, I don't know if they were like high schoolers or college age students who were obviously on like some sort of road trip on a school bus or whatever. Not a school bus, it was one of those coach buses. And they were just all like chatting at the urinals, and some of them were using the urinals, other ones were just standing around the urinals. And it's just very awkward to be like, well, I gotta walk past y'all and use the urinal next to where the group of people is standing. It's just so weird. Like, don't do that shit. Like, the bathroom is not a place to socialize. It's a place to just, like, do your business and leave. And I guess that kind of stems from the high school years, where a lot of times, and me and my friends did this occasionally, where you go into a bathroom and you just kind of, like, you hide from the rest of the school, essentially. And you're just, like, you're in there for 10 or 15 minutes just shooting the shit, you know? And not literally, just figuratively, like, through speech. But yeah, I mean, there's actually a famous video that me and my friends made where we were in a bathroom. I can't show it because we were in a bathroom. No one was using it, but we were in a bathroom and we were recording this song that we made up about a teacher. It was this very big, hefty man, and like he had a very demanding presence and whatever, and so we wrote a song about him, and that's where we performed it in the bathroom. And for the finale, we had someone flush the toilet and walk out as a joke, you know. And yeah, like that's the sort of stuff you do with your friends in private, like when there's no one else using the restroom, right? But when there's people coming in and out every day, every like minute, you know, because it's gas stations are busy. What can I say? People need gas, and people also need to let out their gas. Yeah, it's just one of those things, like, don't just stand around chatting about whatever in the bathroom. Like, why? it's kind of gross. Like, and bathrooms, like, generally don't even smell that good either. Like, even when they're at the cleanest they can possibly be, bathrooms smell like bathrooms, right? I mean, you know, public bathrooms. Like, the bathroom at your house can smell good in a sense, but like I'm not gonna go into a public bathroom and take a big whiff and go, oh, this bathroom smells good today. Like, I never say something like that. I also don't do a deep breath every time I walk into a bathroom, by the way. But that's just saying, like, public restrooms never smell good. But, you know, that's just kind of like, okay, it's a public restroom. People are using it, like, every single minute of the day, you know? So it's not going to smell great. Even when it's recently been cleaned, it's already been used by, like, 1,000 people before I got here, right? But yeah, that's the main thing about the toilets, though, the toilet stalls. Like, you know, when you're doing stuff, just close the door. Don't be chatting with people. Don't be whatever. If you're watching, like, a lot of people, like, sit on the toilet and talk on the phone, too, which I never got. I mean, I understand, like, if you've done your business and you're just sitting there because it's a semi-private place and you just need to be on the phone with someone, like, whatever. But, I mean, I've seen people with, like, come out of bathrooms or bathroom stalls with, like, laptops in their hands and stuff like that. They were, like, tic-tacking on the laptop. Maybe they were just playing WoW, World at Warcraft, and they were like, I'm in the middle of a raid. Kind of like that South Park episode where they're shitting in buckets. Like, I can't get out. I can't move right now. I'm in the middle of a raid, and I have diarrhea. I don't know about that, but then also, like, strange things. Also, like, hawking a freaking loogie. Like, doing a big old into the toilet after you took your shit is just weird. Like, I don't get it. I hear it all the time. And sometimes it's like one of those guttural, like, I'm like really getting the snot out of the back of my throat and I'm about to hawk this thing, like, and it's gonna sound like a turd dropping from my mouth, essentially. And it's just such a loud process sometimes, and it's just very off-putting. Like, you walk in and you just hear someone going, you know, it's like, okay, come on, dude. It's even worse when it's, like, at the urinal. Like, seriously, when someone's at the urinal and they're hawking a loogie into the urinal, it's like, what the fuck are we doing here? Which does bring me to the next part of this, which is the urinal etiquette. And I've actually made a nice little chart here for us to follow, because this does get a bit complicated. And this is going to be a pretty visual episode. This segment and the Switch Collection segment are going to be pretty visual. So if you're listening to this in audio form, we love you, but we also you need to tune into the broadcast or watch the video for this part. But we have our basic urinal setup here. We got 3 regular size urinals and 1 smaller and lower urinal for obviously smaller and lower people. And we're going to label the, you know, it's pretty much just going to be 1 through 3. So the little urinal is number 1, and then the first big urinal right here is number 2, okay? So when we're doing this, my main thing is, if there's no one at the urinal, there's no one at the urinals, don't take urinal number 1, okay? Urinal number 1, the lower urinal, is for children and little people and shorter people. Short kings, as we like to call them, okay? You do not take the first urinal, okay? Take the second, the second or the last, the 4th, okay? And this, I feel like this should be, like, knowledge that everyone has. But yeah, you either go with number 2 or number 4, okay? The ones that are not in the middle. Because if you go in the middle, okay, if you choose the middle one, well, now you've set it up for one person to be on one side, each side of you, if that does happen. And I guess this leads into, if someone is in the middle urinal, you still don't take the little kid's urinal, okay? The little kid urinal is the last resort. If there are 3 people at each of these urinals, that's when you go, okay, I guess I can take the little urinal, okay? That's the only scenario in which you take the small urinal, okay? Because God forbid you're at that urinal and a small child walks up behind you and goes, "Why is the big man at my urinal?" Right? No one wants that. But don't be the dick who is in the middle urinal. And if you are the last, like, let's say there was a person here and there was a person here, and you take the middle urinal, okay, number 3 in this scenario, and you're still finish up and leave. Don't take forever shaking your wiener out. Okay, it doesn't take that long to piss. I mean, unless you had a lot to drink, it shouldn't take that long to piss. Okay, but let's say there is someone at urinal 3, which is the middle one in this case. Once again, don't take the kids one. What's the best case scenario here? Well, if urinal number 4 is next to like a stall, or if it's next to sometimes the handicapped bathroom is next to the final urinal, I usually take that one. I don't go with the first one. It's a little bit more private. You got a wall against you, whatever. Okay. If both of these are taken, then obviously you take the second one, whatever. So now let's get into the scenario where someone takes the first urinal. We got okay, never mind. Actually, we already did that. I'm stupid. We already did that. That's pretty much it, really, for urinal etiquette right there. Like, I'll reiterate this again because whatever, but little toilet, last resort. Okay, never take little toilet unless it's last resort. Always start either at the second or the fourth urinal, never the middle. Leave the middle for the odd one out. If there is going to be an odd one out, they're going to take the middle. If someone stupidly is only in the middle, okay, you take the urinal that's next to a wall. Okay, there's a wall here next to the fourth urinal in this case. Okay, because you have ample privacy on your left side, and you only have to deal with the guy on the right side. If you take the second urinal, you run the risk of someone coming in and going to the small urinal. Okay, that's two eyes that could be on you. You get what I'm throwing down? Yeah, usually, let's say there's no one at the urinal. Like I said, you could take 1 or 4. I generally go with 4 because if there is a wall next to the urinal, that's like the most privacy you can get at a urinal is having a wall, But once again, if you're at the urinal, you shouldn't be standing. Like, if you're at the urinal, you should be standing right next to the urinal. Okay, I'm just saying. Okay, the people who stand back and they're sharpshooting at a target, like they're standing right here and they're shooting at the target. Like, no. This isn't fucking golf, okay? You're not gonna hit the ball harder if you're farther away. Stand right next to the target and shoot into the freaking target, okay? This is not that difficult, okay? If you are one of the people who goes to a urinal and the urinal's right here, and you stand anywhere outside of this range, this close range, okay? Let's say that's like 3 inches, okay? If you stand anywhere out of this range, okay, you're the problem. Okay, you're the problem. Don't be doing that shit. Urinals are already if you're a woman and watching this, you don't know, but urinals are already kind of weird to use in general because, I mean, the dude could be like, hey, can I borrow some toilet paper? He's hanging off of the fucking thing. He's like, hey, dude, can I borrow some fucking, I don't know, Xanax or something? They're just hanging off the side there, They get extra worse when the dude comes in who, he doesn't really know bathroom etiquette, so he's taking a piss and his pants are down here, And he's taking his piss and his pants are literally off. Like he never grew up out of age 5, That's the weirdest thing.
You know how much I love my nuts.
People, they're look, I'm gonna draw some pants here, okay? Here's the little thing. People, there is a zipper on the crotch, okay? And every single pair of underwear has a hole in it for your dingus to pop out of, okay? You don't need to pull your pants fucking down to pee, okay? We are not in first grade. We're not in kindergarten anymore. Okay, we're not in kindergarten. There are ways to get around showing your bare ass in public. Okay, we don't need to see it. If a little kid comes in and pulls his pants down, it's even more fucking awkward. That's why I always pick a urinal that's farther away from the little kid urinal, because you never know what's going to come. You never know what's going to happen. Most kids know how to use a urinal, okay? But there are a percentage of children who usually have parents with them, so it's like a little bit better. But there's a percentage of kids who come in, they're like 5 years old, they don't know how to do it properly yet, and they just pull their pants down and whiz and then leave, right? It's awkward, but I understand it's a small child, which is why the fourth one is the best option when there's no one else there. And even if there is someone there at slot number 2, it's still the best option overall. Okay? But yes, grown-ass men should not be pissing with their pants down. They should not be pissing 5 meters away from the fucking urinal. They should not be taking doo-doo dumps in the urinal. They should not, we as a society should not be spitting wads of chewing tobacco into the urinal. Cum should definitely not be in the urinal. Okay? That is a big no-no. Do not be jerking off at urinals or in public restrooms in general. It's weird, okay? It's just weird. Yeah, but anyway, like, there's these little, like, chewing tobacco pouches I see all the time in the toilets. Like, why are we doing this? It's never gonna flush. And a lot of times, like, the urinals that I'm seeing now, they just have, like, a little tiny button on the side. There's no handle, and there's, like, a little sensor in the front. And when you leave, it triggers it to flush. But if you've had to, stand around a urinal before, like, that water trickles down so slowly. Like, it's just enough to clear out liquid that's at the bottom, just enough. And even then, it only clears out the liquid that's, like, right there at the top of the drainage unit. It doesn't, like, circle around it much anymore. It's just not powerful enough. I think it's to conserve water, obviously, but that's that. Other than that, I have nothing else to say about urinals other than the only thing that should be going into a urinal is piss. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Can you hock a loogie into the urinal? Sure, but that's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. You're hocking a loogie into the urinal, you better hock it closer to the exhaust port. Especially if it's fucking chewing tobacco. If it's chewing tobacco, just don't even, like, just keep chewing tobacco away, Just keep fucking chewing tobacco out of here. No one needs that shit in a toilet, okay? Same thing with you don't need lumps of shit in a urinal either. Boogers? Nope. Keep those in your nose or blow them into a fucking, handkerchief. I don't know. Kleenex. Anything. I mean, I've seen people leave bottles of, like, unknown substances on urinals as well. It's one of those things that's like, I don't know what's in there. I'm not going to touch it, but don't do that. Just throw it away in the garbage. If you accidentally leave it there, fine. I'm not going to sell your soul to Satan, okay? But if it's there and it's full of, like, brown liquid, okay? I don't know if you guys know this or not, but if you see a water bottle that is full of brown liquid, okay, it usually means that it's full of chewing tobacco spit. Okay? It has chewing tobacco spit in there. And that is fucking disgusting. It is fucking disgusting. Chewing tobacco is one of the worst inventions ever. Worst inventions ever. In my opinion. Don't forget to flush. Alright, that's urinals. That's urinal etiquette, okay? We're done with that. Sinks. Boy, I don't know if I'm the one who should be telling you this. But if you don't know, the public restroom sinks are not for filling your water bottle. I've seen it one too many times where someone has a fucking plastic or one of those, like, Yeti water bottles, and they're just filling it up at a fucking public restroom sink. I don't know if you know this, okay, but the water that comes out of your sink, whether it's in a bathroom or in your kitchen, in a public restroom, it's not really for drinking. Like, you put it in your mouth and switch it around and spit it out, but usually it's not good for drinking. If you put a filter on it, right? But I have seen too many people filling up a water bottle at sinks in public restrooms. It's not good. I don't mind, like, I've seen people, like, combing their hair, you know, maybe running some water through their hair, or even doing brushing their teeth. I don't care about that. As long as you clean up your spit and all the toothpaste and shit, that's fine. I don't mind that because, you know, if you're a trucker, you gotta do it somewhere, right? Or whatever. But don't leave the shit all over the place. Like, if you use it for a small, you know, toothbrushing moment, right? Yeah, clean up your shit. No, that's the thing. I said this at the beginning. I'll say it again. Leave the bathroom the way that you found it. If the bathroom doesn't have toothpaste all over it, then don't leave toothpaste in the fucking bathroom. It's as simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. It's as simple as that. Okay? We've covered all the things that I've written down for this subject, but that doesn't mean that we're done. Because there's one more thing about bathrooms that really irk me in the public space, and that's the paper fucking towels. Okay? I don't know how this happens, but almost every fucking time I go into a bathroom, there's paper towels left in the sink, in the urinals, in the toilets, on the floor, everywhere. There are several trash cans in the bathroom at Sheetz, okay? Use one of them. I don't understand what is wrong with people. Also, I should have mentioned this during the sink conversation. Wash your fucking hands. The amount of times I've seen people get done at the urinal or come out of a toilet and just walk out into the world is too damn many. One is too damn many. Wash your fucking hands, especially if you just fucking took a shit. I don't get it. I just this past week, a guy came out, like, the guy was dying on the toilet. I was at the urinal the entire time for this guy's, like, not 5 minutes, but, like, I was in the bathroom for a grand total of, like, a minute and a half, maybe. And, like, a minute of my time there, when I was waiting for a urinal to get open and take a piss, this guy was he was literally dying on the toilet. You could hear him doing the grunts and the farts. It all was it was bad. And I'm washing my hands, and I'm getting ready to walk out, and the guy, you know, he flushes the toilet, he walks out of the stall, and just walks out into the world. He just walks right into the world. And do you know what's in a Sheetz? Food. There's food everywhere. There's bagged food everywhere, of course, but you touch that bag of food, you touch the food in the bag, you touch your mouth, you've got someone's fecal matter in your fucking mouth. Do I need to spell it out anymore, folks? Do I need to spell it out anymore? Whatever you touch after being in that bathroom, after touching your ass with, no, but I have toilet paper on my ass. Yeah, well, you don't need to fucking be a genius to know that fecal flakes don't just land on the fucking toilet paper when you put your hand in the fucking toilet and flush it, okay? The fecal flakes are on your hand. You walk out into the world. You touch a doorknob. You touch the bar to get out of the door. You touch the cooler door to get a drink. You touch the cash register or the credit card scanner. You touch the touch screens for ordering food. You touch the chairs to pull them out and sit in them. You touch the table. Okay? You touch your fucking fecal matter is on everything that you touch after you leave the bathroom. The only way to really, you know, washing your hands is one way. The other way to get the flakes off your hands is to lick your fucking fingers. And I don't think anyone who has a sane brain would lick their fingers after getting out of a bathroom stall. Okay? I'm just saying. There's two ways to do it. The one way is the only way that really makes sense. That was a great shit. No! Who's doing that? No one is. Wash your fucking hands. That's all I ask, is to wash your fucking hands. This is first grade shit. Okay, this is stuff that they should be teaching you in fucking preschool. Why do we have grown adults walking out of bathrooms right after they took a massive dump? I don't get it. There's also people who walk away from the urinals without washing their hands. At least sometimes those people don't touch their penises, okay? But if you touch your fucking wiener while you're pissing, wash your fucking hands. Same thing. Now when you touch a doorknob, your penis has touched the doorknob. When you touch a bag of chips and put it down, your penis has touched the bag of chips. When you touch a chair and pull it out, your penis has touched that chair. Do you understand what I'm saying? Why do I have to have this topic in this podcast? Because I've seen it too goddamn much. Okay, I've seen it too often. I've seen it too often. I use a restroom at a gas station 4 out of 5 times in a week at least. Come on, folks. It's not that fucking hard. It's not that fucking hard. Even if you're in a time crunch, there's always time to take the 2 seconds to put soap on your hands, rub them under some water, dry them with a towel, leave. Or just dry them on your pants. If you're in that big of a rush, wash, dry on your pants while you're walking out. I just don't get it, folks. I just don't get it. And once again, I wish I didn't have to be talking about this fucking subject. I wish I didn't have to have illustrations and do a PowerPoint presentation about this shit. But it's just too goddamn many people. I've seen too many people do this stuff. And that's why I need to come to you and tell you all to spread the word of cleanliness. We just need to wash our hands after taking shits. Is that too much to ask? If you're at your own home, you should be washing your hands as well. I bet these people shit and piss at home and don't wash their hands, and now their entire home is covered in fecal flakes. Their dogs, their pets, their drinks, their refrigerator, their ovens, their washing machines, it's all covered in shit. It's all covered in fecal flakes, folks. It's the fecaline. The fecaline is upon us. The fecaline is here, and the fecaline is upon us, and the world is one big fecal ball. We are now going to be calling Earth fecal. And yeah, that's that. To anyone who thought that Fubar Ferret was dead, it's still alive, folks. I told you all that this podcast was a vehicle for Fubar Ferret. You didn't believe me. It's just going to be a chill time. He's going to talk about movies and music. Wrong. We're here. We're talking about fecal flakes. The zombie apocalypse will be caused by someone not washing their hands after taking a shit. Last week we also had a Fubar moment when we talked about Popeyes. So I don't want to hear it. But I also don't want to see people not washing their hands. But of course, it's going to be happening when I go to the bathroom. I wash my hands. I do. Wash my hands every time. Why can't everyone else? I don't know. I got places to be. Beep beep, honk honk. I gotta get back to my car and spread my fecal flakes in my car. I think that maybe that's the thing that people don't realize is when you touch your ass, like let's say you didn't wipe properly and you touch your fucking beehole because you got an itchy butt, okay? My fingers smell. Yeah, but now your fingers also have fecal matter on them, whether you see it or not. Who knows? But now, okay, you've touched your ass, and now you've touched your car door. Your car door's now fecal infested. You shake hands with your employer, his hand is now fecal infested. It's like the ending of that Planet of the Apes movie, the first reboot, which I think is called like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, right? Or Rise. It's one of those. It's where Caesar and like DeFranco, whatever his name is buddy. And the end of that movie has like an airplane pilot who is sick with the monkey virus, and his blood like falls on the floor, and people step in it and touch it, and it just kind of spreads from there. And everyone on the plane, it spreads through the plane because he's going through yeah, it's kind of like that except with poop and fecal flakes and penis enlargement pills. Anyway. Yeah, I don't have any knowledge of the women's restroom, so don't I'm not gonna go there, but I'm sure that there's plenty of stories there. The one thing about the women's restroom that always it's always been in the back of my mind. When I used to go to elementary school, it was a rumor that there was a couch in the women's bathroom. We went in there one day, there wasn't a couch, there wasn't a plant, there was nothing. And we were all very disappointed. all of us little first graders who snuck into the women's bathroom. We were very disappointed that there was no couch. But that's the thing too, like a couch in a bathroom, that's like got to be the worst idea ever. I'm just imagining like a sofa, a three-piece sofa in like a fucking public restroom. That'd be sick. The fabric would catch all the fucking aerial-borne shit. No, thank you. No, thank you. All right, let's move on. Because I'm sure everyone just wants me to talk more and more about urinals. How is everyone doing today, huh? I hope we're all doing fantastic. Hope you're all doing great. Lukester, Kenobi, Callus, Tater, Luce. Did I say Kenobi? Callus, Lucy, Pokemon community games. Hope everyone's doing good. All right, let's talk about physical media, because this is a pretty hot topic right now. I think it's been a hot topic for quite some time, but it's kind of come to a forefront in a lot of ways, where companies are now like starting to take digital content away, which is re-sparking the debate of like, okay, do we need physical media? And I'm mostly just talking about like music, movies, and video games. Mostly video games. I've always been a fan of having a physical game or physical thing in my hands. Now, my movie collection got drastically smaller after I moved and stuff. So it's not like I'm a big proponent of like movie physicals, and obviously not CD physicals, but I still really like getting physical copies of games, even if it is just like a blank disc where it just has like a code to download the game or something, right? But I've always been a fan of having the physical thing in my hands to put on a shelf, to put a disc into my PlayStation or whatever, and go from there. And one of the first casualties, I think, of the digital age. Whoa! I sound like a 90s commercial. The digital age! What's email? One of the first casualties was like physical music, like CDs, cassettes, I think that I think that there's a place for like vinyl and cassettes still, right? I think that because I've actually bought a couple of cassettes from bands that I really like, even though I don't even have a cassette player at this point. I find it very nostalgic, one, and two, I kind of find it cool, because I always found cassettes to be kind of cool. I grew up with cassettes, of course. I used to make a lot of like recordings on my cassettes, like songs on the radio. I would record it and then stop the recording when the radio guy came in or whatever. And then I would have like I would also have like other things that I would mix together. And there's just something so satisfying about like putting a tape into a tape deck, or putting it into like one of those cassette players, the big boombox cassette players like my dad used to have, and just playing some songs, playing some music, playing a mixtape. Mixtapes,
Like, you can still kind of do like a mixtape nowadays by like editing together, almost like a radio DJ. You kind of edit together songs, but it was pretty easy on a cassette. You know, you would just kind of let the song play, and you would press the pause button, and then you would load up another one, and you would kind of keep going. It was just a lot. It was a lot of fun, and that was one of my favorite things to do when I was a kid. I like rewrote like over cassettes like 15 times with like different mixes, because my dad used to be a DJ, so he had a lot of like cassettes and CDs. So when I was growing up, I had a lot of music at my disposal to kind of mix and match. And you know, there was a time where I thought that I was going to be a DJ, but this is a topic for a different time. I'm realizing this now, that this was actually the topic that I was going to talk about before I switched a little bit last minute, because I wasn't able to prepare what I wanted to prepare. But let's get back on track. Cassettes are very nostalgic for me, and I still love collecting, like just having cassettes. I think they're really cool. Even though the packaging isn't like amazing, I've always liked the plastic that you put the cassette into, and like the little foldable thing that goes in there.
Yeah, fuck Greedy Waffles, he ruined everything, sad face.
Yep, you missed the start of the podcast where I did not blame you. But yep. But I eventually switched over to CD collecting, and I had a pretty sizable CD collection. I remember I feel like I had like 200 fucking CDs in my collection back in the day. And it was just a collection of everything. And like I said before, I did want to be a DJ at one point. So when I bought a CD, it wasn't really like, most of the time it was for me. Like one of my first CDs that I ever bought that wasn't like a Weird Al album was the Sleeping album. But really, I also bought like albums that were like, oh, I could play this song on here at a venue or something, right? Like I bought that Plain White Tees album with Hey There Delilah over an album that I actually wanted to buy, because I was like, oh, Hey There Delilah is a big song, people want to hear that. Yeah, no. But my CD collection, there came a point where I was going to move out of my parents' house, and they said you can either sell your CDs or bring them with you. And it was a lot of work to move all that stuff. The box that I put all the CDs in was like a 10 by 10 box, and I was looking at the entire collection, and I was thinking, like, these aren't gonna go up in value, which is actually pretty adult thinking for someone who was like 18 at the time. And I was like, at this point, I should get the value they're worth and take the money and run, essentially, just like that one song, take the money and run. Woo-hoo-hoo. So we went to Half Price Books. I sold all the CDs for like $430, which is obviously not as much as I put into the collection, but fair's fair, right? At least I'm getting some return on the investment of all these CDs. And yeah, I took the money and I was like, okay, this is great. I had $400 in my bank account that I didn't have before, and you know, I was fine with it. I was actually relatively fine with leaving my CD collection behind, because Spotify was up and coming, Pandora, iHeartRadio had like an app and whatever. They could just listen to songs. And my car at the time, I got like this Chevy Sonic, right, like a little bit after I actually moved, and it didn't even have a CD player anymore. Actually, none of the cars I've had since my first car has had a CD player, unfortunately. I would still love to have a CD player, but whatever. But yeah, yeah. At this point, like this, if I still had that CD collection, it would probably be in the basement in the same box that I packed up the CDs in originally. So it's like at least the CDs are either in a compost bin or being used, hopefully. You know. And that's the other thing too. Like, I didn't really like you look at the prices of like CDs, they're like less than $5 at this point for like a used CD. Like, you go on eBay and it's like, what's the most rare CD ever. Like, I don't think there's anything over like $10 at this point. Like, what's a rare CD that you could think of? I don't think there's anything that's like rare CDs. I like vinyls. There's plenty of rare vinyls, but CDs and cassettes are dirt cheap. They never gained value because I don't know. They're just because they were lesser forms of listening to music. People really do stand by that vinyls are the number one way to listen to a song over digital, over CD, over cassette, over whatever. It makes sense. It's a very clean sound. I have a lot of vinyl. The record player broke a long time ago, but that's besides the point. And yeah, I mean, the listening to the vinyl, it's fun because you watch the record turning. The song sounds clean and crisp, and as long as you have a nice needle on your turntable, you got a nice listening experience, and you can kind of just bump up the volume and listen to a raw version of the music. And of course, yes, I do hear a bit of difference in quality when you're listening to a vinyl, okay? But it's not enough for me to be like, oh, I got to get everything on vinyl. No, it's not. It's not that big of a difference to me personally that I'm like, oh, I gotta get vinyl. I just have vinyls from albums that I really like, and a couple albums that I don't like, but that's besides the point. I got a couple Tom Petty records. I have a Necrogoblicon record. I have a few. I think I have like 2 Foo Fighters albums. One of them is Sonic Highways, and I don't like Sonic Highways, but I got the vinyl anyway for whatever reason. I got a Simon and Garfunkel, I don't remember exact. I have a Pink Floyd's The Wall, actually. I remember. Oh, and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, of course. And even though I don't think that records and vinyl are going to go up in price either, but it's cool to have that stuff because, it's fun to maybe listen to every so often. It's not going to be like an everyday listening to thing, but every so often. Because most of the time when I'm just listening to something on Spotify, it's easier, one, to set up and just listen to, and two, I don't like the difference is negligible to me personally when I'm listening to something on Spotify as opposed to something on vinyl. So it's not really that big of a deal to me, But yeah, that's the fun thing though. I think that a lot of physical media, I guess records in general and cassettes are kind of in that nostalgia phase. Vinyls specifically, I don't think are ever going to go out of style, but I do foresee cassettes once again going back into nothing because they kind of had their like 90s nostalgia rerun, but they'll be gone by, in 4 years or 3 years or whatever, And even now, like I have 2 albums on cassette. One of them is an Amon Amarth album, the Berserker album, and then the other one is Tiny Moving Parts' self-titled. And that's the only 2 cassettes I have. And it's like when I'm never gonna. They're more so just for like visual aesthetic, I guess you could say, on my background, But I'm not gonna like buy a cassette player and listen to those recordings anymore, right? And the other thing that I miss about CDs in general is doing like a mix CD, because a mix CD was also pretty fun to do. I remember giving Greedy Waffles a couple of mix CDs throughout our childhood and into I think the first Warped Tour we went to, I made like a CD, a mix CD. And it was always fun like making mixes. Like I would make them for myself and put them in my car, and I would just put like the loudest songs I could, on those albums. Do y'all remember the micro SD card albums? Now, this was a very niche thing that happened when I was in high school, but there were a couple of bands, one of them being Weezer with the Red Album, the other one being the New Number 2 with their like first album. I think there was another like a couple else that I'm forgetting right now, but a couple bands, I don't know if it was a certain record label, released these like albums that were on micro SDs, and I actually had 2 of those when I was younger. And originally I thought it was kind of cool because you get the physical, the little SD card, you put it into your computer, and like you can download the songs onto your computer, then put them wherever you want to. But in hindsight, that was a pretty stupid idea, and it's no wonder that it never really caught on. And the funny thing too is that Weezer knew that it was a bad idea because the shelves had like one row of SD cards and then the rest were just the regular CD album. Sorry to the new number 2. Good album, by the way. If you've never listened to that new number 2, the first new number 2 album, it's actually a pretty good album. It's actually a really fun album. Crazy Tuesday was always a favorite of mine. Also, Yomp. Fucking Yomp, dude. What a banger. But I don't think the band really went too far because they released their first album on fucking micro SD cards. It's like, what are we doing here? So yeah, I think in physical media with music, it kind of makes sense that it was phased out because everything's on Spotify nowadays. You can listen to everything for free. Yeah, you don't own the songs or anything like that. You can also listen to a lot of songs on YouTube as well and Amazon. So it's not like there's no way to listen to these songs for free, other than the radio, I guess. But yes, I mean, sure, you have to maybe listen to an ad here or there, but you get all the music for free that you could ever want. And I don't think that owning the physical CD is like really that big of a deal, in my opinion, to not have that. And you guys are going to hate me saying this, but I almost want to say that movies are kind of the same way for me, where it's like I have not bought a physical movie since Everything Everywhere All at Once. And before that, I did not buy a physical media movie since The Revenant. Okay? That is how seldom I buy physical movies, because I just rent them or have them on Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, etc. I do understand the reason why you want to preserve movies and stuff on physical media, though. And I harken back to Star Wars for this one because this is a huge example. The original cut of Star Wars, the original trilogy of movies on VHS are different than the next version of the movie. There's actually several versions of A New Hope at this point that have changed a couple scenes over and over and over again. But it's kind of bizarre. So we'll take the Greedo versus Han Solo scene, where it's like, okay, in the original cut of the movie, Han Solo shot first. He shot first. That was it. And then in the next version of the movie, like Greedo shot first, but he missed his shot, and then Han Solo shoots him, right? And then in the next version of the movie, like Han Solo's head moves in a digitally altered way to move his head away from the blaster shot, and then he shoots Greedo. I don't know how the Disney Plus version of the movie is. I think they went back to Han shooting first, but I don't know. I haven't watched that version of the movie. There's other things that they fixed up in there, like some visual effects. They added in the different, like in the original Empire Strikes Back, it was a different person playing the Emperor. And of course, Boba Fett was voiced by a different person. And of course, in the original Star Wars movie, Jabba the Hutt was like a guy in like a fat dude in barbarian clothes. So they had to add the actual Jabba the Hutt in there from the Return of the Jedi, right? So there's a reason why the movie was re-released, but it's been re-released so many times. Like if you have that original copy of the VHS, you got something magical there. You got something that's like lost in time, because you cannot find that original VHS version of the movie that they screened in theaters anywhere except for if you like. I think there's like fan versions of it that are like the ultimate edition of the movie or whatever. I know that there's a guy on YouTube named Hello Greedo who has talked about it in length. So if you want, check out his videos if you want a full like rundown of how to find that stuff and how to watch the supercut version made by the fans. I'm not going to tell you to go do that, but if you want to, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, there you go. But yeah, that original VHS copy has so many different things about it than the re-releases. It's kind of insane. So I understand wanting to have that physical media because, at any point, a movie could be taken down from Netflix, changed, and then put back up, or whatever, right? Or maybe the original version of the movie is so hard to find, and it's only like the director's cut or the super cut or whatever that comes out, and you can't find the original version. Maybe the original version is the best version. Who knows? It's kind of the opposite for like Blade Runner, I guess, but still, the point stands. And then there's also been the problem recently of studios just like taking movies and shows down from Netflix or Hulu that are like originals for those platforms, and just they're never going to be able to be seen again. There's movies nowadays like the Batgirl movie and the Coyote versus Acme movie that are just not being released. They're just being trashed before they even get to streaming services or theaters for that matter, because it's like a tax write-off, and like stuff like that should never fucking happen. It's like you're taking away all these, like, this hard work of all the people working on these movies and just throwing it away. Like, that's crazy. That's absolutely insane. But I think the bigger point is that, like, there's like TV shows or shows on Netflix and stuff being taken down. There's no other way to get to them except through Netflix. And Netflix is like, nope, it's not available anymore. Whatever. We're not re-upping IP. We're not re-upping copyright issues, whatever. And they're just taking stuff down. If they release a physical version of that, well, you've circumvented the problem. But for the most part, if a show comes out on Hulu or whatever, it just doesn't have a physical version. I don't think there's been a physical version of Hell's Kitchen since like season 10 or something, right? You know, there's a lot of shows nowadays that come out that will never see a physical version, and the only way you'll be able to see them is through reruns or we rewatch them on whatever streaming platform, right? It's just kind of weird. And even though I personally, I'm not like super devoted to physical movies, I do understand why there's people out there who are very much like, we need to preserve movies physically and TV shows physically because this shit is getting crazy. And I get that. I get that so much. And I do support the notion of, you know, physical media for movies and stuff like that for till the end of time. And right now we're starting to see like Best Buy. I just was at Best Buy a couple days ago, and they completely removed like all their movies, right? And it's kind of sad to see, but it happened once with the CDs, and now it's happening with the movies. It's kind of a thing we kind of knew was going to happen. And now that leads me into the final part here, which is video games, where now people are concerned, especially the people who have been following the Best Buy thing, that like, oh, they're going to take physical video games off the shelves as well. And I think that's a crazy notion, but it's obviously not far-fetched, right? It's not something that I couldn't see happening in the future. As of right now, though, I think that the physical department is still very much alive in the video game landscape, but you can definitely tell that some games aren't, like some major games, they aren't getting a physical version, at least not right away. They get a version later after it's sold really well, or after limited run, or whoever gets permission to release the physical version of the games, right? Look at Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2, one of the best-selling games from Remedy, actually the best-selling game from Remedy, only a digital release, did not get a physical version. People are still waiting for a physical version because that's how they want to play the games, you know? And a lot of people who buy physical video games, they're buying them with the intention, like, I'm going to play it, I'm going to maybe put it on my shelf for a year, maybe down the road I will sell some games and I'll get some return on my investment with this game. Now, I personally don't really sell anything anymore. Video games. I don't really sell video games anymore after I buy them. I don't think I've sold a video game in quite some time. I sold like the Borderlands 3 Collector's Edition, but like that was a Collector's Edition that I never opened. I won it in a contest at PAX East or PAX West, whenever that was, like 5 years ago or whatever, right? So like that's not like a video game. That's just something that I sold that I already had a copy of. I already had the Collector's Edition, so it's like whatever. But I don't really sell video games anymore. And really, I mean, in the back of my mind, it's kind of like the same thing as like the CDs. Like, why am I keeping all these video games? Well, maybe one day I want to play them, or maybe one day this game will, for whatever reason, bump up in price, and I'll have a copy of it, right? We saw that happen with the Deadpool physical version, the Deadpool video game physical version on the PS4. Never got a re-release, had like 1 or 2 runs of prints, and then was never re-released, and actually got taken down from storefronts. And that's a game that I originally had like a PS3 version that I sold, and then I bought the PS4 version when that came out. And I'm lucky that by the time that I bought the PS4 version, I wasn't in that age where I was like, oh, I gotta sell this to buy the next game, right? No, I could keep the game. And now that the game that I bought for $40 is now worth $70. So that's a $30 return if I sell it for the full price that it's worth. And that's actually the thinking behind how a lot of people do their physical media. It's like, okay, I bought this. Now, if I ever want to sell it down the road when I'm older, or when I don't, when whatever happens, I will get some sort of return on this, because as it stands, all, the 1,000 something video games that I have on Steam, all the digital games that I have on the PS4 from PlayStation Plus, or just buying them over the years, don't have any value anymore. Once they take that digital item off of the storefront or whatever, it's gone. If tomorrow Steam decides to shut down services and every single game that you have is just gone because, it's an online storefront, then we're just all shit out of luck. The digital license key is not worth anything. It's just, it unlocks the game for you to play on that account. And we've run into it before where you lose your Steam account, you lose your games. You lose your Discord login, you lose your Discord account. You lose your PlayStation account gets banned, you lose all of your PlayStation games on that banned account, okay? When you have physical media, that problem isn't there. But there's so many games nowadays that are like indie releases or even sometimes AAA releases like Alan Wake 2, or maybe that's a AA, but still, they just have a digital release. And it's like, well, okay, if my PlayStation gets hacked and someone buys $5,000 of FIFA coins and I have to back charge it on my my bank account and my account gets banned, now all like 400 or something, 500 something games that I bought on or have on my PlayStation 4 and my PlayStation 5 are gone. That's just something that I kind of always have in the back of my mind. And even though Steam is a great platform, I don't think it will ever die at this point. If it does, the world will end. But it's the reason why I've bought so many games on Steam is because I feel safe buying games on Steam. I feel like Steam will be around forever. I feel like when I'm 90 years old, God willing, I will still be able to buy the first game that I bought on Steam, which is Audio Surfer. Okay, I will still be able to play and download that game and run it on my computer when I'm 90 years old. Okay, I don't think that Steam will ever go away, but there is always that thought in the back of my mind. It's like, well, I don't have Audio Surfer physical. It never got a physical. It's a digital only game. If in the future Steam shuts down, I'll never be able to play Audio Surfer again. I'll never be able to play any of like the 1,500 games that I have on Steam. Most of them bought with sales, by the way. I'm not crazy. I didn't buy $1,560 games. Okay, most of them I have were on sale or free at this point. But that's always in the back of the mind. Like, if Steam ever dies, like if their servers go shut down sometime in the future, then yeah, I mean, we'll just be out whatever games, and that's just like. That's just the worst. That's just the worst feeling ever. And that actually happened to me once. I had a PS3 and I had a couple of digital games. The main thing was I had a physical version of Mass Effect 3, but I had a bunch of digital content for it because that game had the multiplayer mode where you could get the characters from the random boxes for like $2 a pop, right? I had all the best characters. I had leveled up my characters like to maximum. I loved the multiplayer mode in that game. And my account got hacked. Someone bought like $50 or so, $100 worth of FIFA points. I know this for a fact, okay? I know this for a fact because I saw the transactions go through. I saw what they bought. And I went to my bank and said, hey, these are fraudulent charges. Someone got into my account. They reversed the charges. They credited my account. And then PlayStation was like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Now your account's banned for good. And I was like, what? So now all the games that I had on my PlayStation 3 that were digital, I could no longer access. At that point, though, I didn't really have too many digital games. It was mostly physical, so that's fine. But, there's all those characters that I just lost. All those good. So I had to restart from square one on all my games, my trophy list, my digital content, everything. I had to restart from ground zero because of the shitty security that PlayStation had at the time. So that was really fucking dumb. And nowadays, once again, like I said, I have an ever-growing digital library, but I also have an ever-growing physical library as well. I recently bought Skull and Bones physical from Best Buy, and it was a Best Buy exclusive physical version of the game. That's the only place you could get Skull and Bones. I'm sure eventually down the road you'll be able to get it, on sale or used from GameStop or something, right? But the fact that I had to specifically go to Best Buy, which I do go to Best Buy for all of my physical games at this point, unless it's like a special release. It's nice that they still have those physical games, like Skull and Bones, that I can still get physically. There's lots of people out there who will be like, oh, I'll just buy it digitally. It's an online game, whatever, But yeah, so at this point, it's like I would hate to see video games become digital only, because as I've already said, it's a lot riskier for the average consumer to get just digital video games. And me, a person who loves playing video games, I bought way too many this month already. Okay, and there's still more releases this month that that I enjoy, that I want, or that I bought. Okay, most of those games have been digital. There's only been 3 games that were physical: Skull and Bones, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, and actually no, 2. That's 2. I think it's just 2 games. Everything else was digital. So yeah, I've bought like 10 games this month, or maybe not 10. Like, so I think I bought like 6 games this month. 2 of them were physical, and usually I would buy everything physical, but a lot of those games, like Penny's Big Breakaway or Balatro, are digital only releases, and you can't get a physical right now. How you doing today, Happy Panda of Cyan Forest? I hope you're doing well. Yes, we're recording a podcast right now, so like the alerts and stuff aren't going to go off, but I do appreciate you swinging by. Yeah, GameStop has been a bit up and down recently. I think the main issue is that they did the whole NFT thing, and they kind of sunk their ship when they went into the NFT market. And I know they're out of it now, but that was a big L for them. And then also, I also, like, every time I go into a GameStop, like, the new games are, like, so few because they just want to sell you used games. And there's also a whole thing about, like, if you buy from their storefront online, a lot of times you'll get the wrong item or something that's damaged. I've heard a lot of bad stories about that, too. I go to Best Buy. I go to Best Buy because I have a Best Buy credit card. I've had a Best Buy credit card since the original PSVR came out, and I put that was the first thing I bought on that credit card. It was like an $800 purchase because I had to buy that VR headset, the camera, the Move controllers, the charging station. It was a crazy big, freaking thing. I used to be a big GameStop guy. When I was a kid, that was the place that I would go, and when I went there when I was a kid, you had to like fill out a paperwork for every single game that you sold there and stuff like that. It was one of those. It was just one of those. It's one of those things that you look back on now and be like, oh, it's kind of funny that you had to fill out paperwork for each game and sign for each game, And nowadays they just scan them and it's all fun. It's all good. But yeah, if I go to a GameStop, it's because someone in my family gave me a gift card, thinking, oh, Yemmy likes going to, buying video games. Here, have this $20 GameStop card. It's like, all right. But I mostly go to Best Buy for that stuff now. And a lot of times I don't even go in store to Best Buy. I order it online and I pick it up there, or they ship it to me, So there's that. And this all leads to my Switch collection, which right now, besides from my PS4 and PS5 collection, is my biggest collection, because Switch games, I only have like 3 or 4 digital Switch games. I have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe digital. I have a game called Puzzle Puppers, Brawl Out, and Fling to the Finish, or something like that. Those are the only like 4 digital games I have, minus any of the NSO games, the Nintendo Switch Online games. Those don't really count, obviously. But my physical collection on Switch, almost every game that I get on Switch is physical, because it's just how it goes. Okay, that's just how it is. I think it's much easier to buy a physical Nintendo game. One, they are keeping their value. Anything first-party Nintendo is keeping their value, folks. Okay. 2, it's just cool. The boxes are fun. The little game cartridges are fun. They taste horrible, but whatever, you know. I personally, if I'm buying a game digitally, it's either on Steam or on PS4 or PS5, right? And I thought that the first good, like if I'm gonna do like a collection showcase for all of my consoles, okay, I have a lot of them, by the way. Pretty much, I have every single PlayStation, Xbox 360, Xbox Series S, Nintendo Switch, Nintendo 64, GameCube, Wii. You know, I have a lot of different stuff. If I'm going to start with any collection, it's going to be the Switch collection, and I may only do the Switch collection. I have more PS4 and PS5 games than I do Switch games, but I'm more proud of my Switch collection than I am of my PlayStation collection. I'm just saying. So, for the first time in this podcast history, we're going to go camera mode so we can show off the various games that I have. I love collecting Switch games. I think Switch games are the most fun things to collect. So if you are watching this on, or I'm sorry, if you're listening to this, once again, this is a very visual thing that we're gonna do here. I gotta put the jazz music back on because this scene does not have jazz music. So we got that back, but yeah, you might want to tune into the broadcast or the VOD of the broadcast to check out what we're doing here. So we're gonna start with A, which we're starting with Advance Wars 1 and 2 Boot Camp, Reboot Camp. The one thing I really like about a lot of Switch games is they have a reversible cover, and I think this reversible cover is really nice. Even though I like the original cover of this, I think the reverse is actually pretty cool. I like the reverse on that. I also like Switch game cases are also like they're always so well done. Like they have nice snappy rings, sides to them. I barely ever get a Switch cartridge damaged, anything like that. They never pop out of their little placement. I think that the Switch, like, hey, call me a Nintendo fanboy if you want to, but I feel like these Switch cases where you put the little card into this holder, I've never had a loose Switch game in case delivered to me. PlayStation games, whatever, anything with a disc always comes loose. Switch games never come loose. But yeah, Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, this came out last year. Pretty fun game. I didn't get around to finishing it, of course, because for various reasons, but that is the first game on our collection here. I didn't really think this out. I don't know, where am I going to put the games I already did? Alright, I got an idea. We're fine. Okay. Next up, we got Animal Crossing New Horizons. I don't play this game, by the way, so if you're looking for my input on it, I do not play this game. This is the other half's game of choice. She plays this a lot. I used to play some Animal Crossing. I think New Leaf or whatever it was called. I played that on the 3DS. But this was a big. We were talking about this today. Actually, this is a big pandemic game. It was one of those games that everyone was playing. The reason why I don't have Switch games in some of these is because I have a 100 game holder. And that's where I keep most of my games, is in that 100 game holder. Because right now I don't have like a shelf to put the Switch games on. I kind of put them in a cupboard. So I have like a 100 games pouch and then like a 6 game pouch with for the Switch holder that I put some games in. So not all of them are going to have the game discs. They're not discs, they're cartridges. I apologize. All right. A game that we recently played, Bayonetta 2. This is some nice artwork here. This is some very nice artwork right here. This is a nice one because the physical version of this game comes with a download code, which... Okay, I can't show the inside of this box because the code is actually printed on the inside of the sleeve here. But it actually comes for free with the game, which is really nice. I thought that was a really nice thing. I already had the game on Steam because Platinum Games didn't originally used to be bought, wasn't originally under Nintendo's banner. But it is really nice that the original game came in here along with the second one, right? And the other nice thing is, let me Let me just put my hand over the code here because I haven't redeemed it yet. But the inside has a reversible cover for the original game, which is also very cool. Was really cool. So I really do like that. I like this cover art. I like the box itself, and I like that there's a reversible cover for the original game in here too. I know that they did a physical version for the game. I didn't buy that, but you know, that's also nice. All right, now we got Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. We recently played this as well on stream. Captain Toad is a pretty fun game. I enjoyed it enough. I thought that the bonus levels were, like the Odyssey levels, were the best part of the game, and there's only 5 of them, so that was kind of annoying. This one has this one has the game cartridge in here, just to show. I like how it snaps into place, right? I like how it snaps into place. This one, I don't like the box art cover, especially with this fucking big, like, hey, you can play levels inspired by Mario Odyssey in the corner there. Like, what the fuck is that, you know? But, yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah, that's a good point that Happy Panda brings up. Digital cases that have the digital-only thing at the top are a scam. I see it with Fortnite, I see it with Apex Legends, I've seen it with several video games that have a physical box, but they're on the shelf with a code inside of it. Like, I think they re-released Call of Juarez in a box with just a digital code. That's a scam. It's an actual scam. It's pretty much just for older people, boomers, who don't know that there's nothing in the box. They don't know that's a code. They see the game on the shelf, and they go, oh, I think my grandson will like this. They buy it, and then it's just a code in the box. A lot of times it's like the $40 to $50 Fortnite codes and stuff like that has like a skin pack, and the kid already has Fortnite on their PlayStation or whatever. So it's like, why did you get me this, right? It's just an empty box with a code in it for a skin pack that they might have already bought. So yeah, those are pretty much complete scams. All right, the newest collection, the addition to my collection, or one of the newest things for my collection, is Cereza and the Lost Demon Bayonetta Origins. This was on sale at Best Buy, and I know what Callus is about to say. What about Bayonetta 3, Yemmy? Bayonetta 3! They sold out of Bayonetta 3 when I went to go buy it. They sold out of Bayonetta 3 when I went to buy it. But they had this game. They had this game for $30. So I bought it because I'm like, yeah, it looks, I mean, for $30 the game looks fine. I haven't opened this one yet. It still has plastic on it. But for $30, like, I would buy this.
Curse you, Callus!
$60 though? Definitely not $60. This is definitely not like a game that I think would be worth $60 in my opinion. But for $30, I would give it a try. I would totally give it a try. I think that's perfectly fine. So Cereza and the Lost Demon. I think that's a nice addition to my collection. I think it has a very nice cover artwork to it as well, with the swirls and the face behind her and all that. I think that's a really nice cover art. I don't know really much about the game, but it should be fine. I'll play it eventually. All right, so this is pretty much the only awkward case that I have. We bought, because we both, me and my significant other, really love Cult of the Lamb. We bought the physical version, so it came with like an art booklet and stuff like that. So this is pretty much the only game that I don't have like a normal case for in my Switch library. But I had, we had to buy it physically. I believe the game I believe the game case itself is actually in Crazy Infamous's room right now, but that's fine because this is pretty much the same thing. But we had to get the physical version of Call of the Lamb. This was my second favorite game of the year when it came out. Probably could have been my overall favorite game of the year, in all honesty, but Ollie Ollie World I just had more fun with at the end of the day, but still very good. All right, next up, the best 2D Donkey Kong game, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Yes, well, yeah, I do like the original Donkey Kong games a lot, but this one definitely was one of those banger type releases. And of course, this is another reversible cover. You can actually swap it out for the Funky Kong version, which is also pretty cool. Essentially, this was a Wii U game that they ported over to the Switch with some new stuff like Funky Mode, which is pretty much just an easy mode. I think that the game cover itself is really fun, and I think that this was a great release. I don't think it should have been full price when it came out, though, because the original game at that point was already like 10 years old, or 5 or 6 or whatever years old. So yes, I did wait for a sale to get this one. Alright, next up is one of the first games I bought for the Switch, back when I only had like 3 games. I got the Doom port on the Switch. And the main reason I got this was if people who know my channel know that I actually reviewed the Switch version of the game. One of the first videos in the modern Yemmy the Ferret era was a review of Doom on the Switch. And I thought that this port of the game was actually really good. I thought they did a great job with the port of this game. The inside cover art is amazing. Okay. And also the cover art is amazing too. It harkens back to the original Doom. And that's one of the other reasons why I bought it, just because the cover is so nice. But also, this game port is really good too, you know? It's actually really good too, so there you go. Another early Switch game, The End Is Nigh. This one is like a hardcore platformer. I believe it's by the same guy who did The Binding of Isaac. I never finished the game, so it's one of those games that I want to play and finish down the road. A rare game that actually has a physical manual inside of it, which is actually, you don't see that a lot anymore. You really don't. Like, a lot of this stuff is just really cool. It's one of these inside things that are very reminiscent of like the GameCube era, the PS2 era, where it has like lore in there. It has tips for playing the game and stuff like that. Behind the scenes stuff with designing characters too. It's a bygone era at this point. Talk about physical media. Also talk about manuals as well. The era of manuals is over. But this is actually a pretty fun game. It's very hardcore. So if you're going into this, just know it's a hardcore 2D platformer that's kind of in the same vein as like Super Meat Boy almost, but it's a little bit more technical. But it's actually a really good game. I really enjoyed it. I never got around to finishing it, but it's on my list. It's on my list. I'm sure hardly anyone knows this game. Flipping Death. This is a earlier Switch game as well. This game, I believe it's by the same people who did Stick It to the Man, if I'm not mistaken. This is just a little pamphlet. This is not really a manual. It's just a little pamphlet there with some artwork on there. And then the background here is some artwork, concept artwork, which is really cool. Essentially, it kind of has the same vibes as Guacamelee, where you switch between the land of the living and the dead for stuff. But you play as the Grim Reaper, kind of. Another game that we never got around to finishing, but it was pretty fun. It's definitely on my list still. It's cool. All right, folks. I own this game digitally on 2 different storefronts, but I had to get it physically, and that is Grim Fandango Remastered. I love this game. I love the original game, but I extra love this game. It's one of my favorite point-and-click adventure games, and the physical version is beautiful. It has this really nice slipcover on it, and then the main game here. And then on the inside is some really cool stuff as well. So if you've never played the game, then you might not know what any of this is. But essentially, you have a ticket for the train to the afterlife. And then you also have one of the first things that you can actually pick up in the game, which is a matchbook. And you actually, it's a pretty nice little collector's edition here. And once again, it's just a slipcover. I don't mind slipcovers for the most part. Sometimes I'll actually take them off and put them somewhere else. But this one has such a clean slipcover. It is just such a nice slipcover. And of course, they got my dude on the back there. But this is one of the best point-and-click games out there. It is just so good. The style is great. The storytelling is amazing. If you have to, just use a fucking guide. Like, there's no reason not to. It's such a great game. I think everyone should experience at least once. All right, we got a newer game here from last year. This is Disney's Illusion Island. This is a pretty fun platformer. Surprisingly, it's a Metroidvania, co-op Metroidvania, which is actually kind of unique in a lot of ways, especially from Disney. The art style is very fun. It's reminiscent of the newer Mickey Mouse cartoons, which are actually pretty good. It's good. Once again, we didn't get around to finishing it, but it was fun. I definitely will finish it. We just haven't gotten around to it yet, so whatever. Just one of those things. This one, I did not buy this one. This is a crazy infamous purchase, but Just Dance 2022. If you know what, oh god, that's such a ugly inside cover. It's just bleach white with a bunch of fucking text, and even the cover on the outside isn't that much fun either. Yeah, I don't really have anything to say about this other than I played Just Dance like twice in my lifetime. I was more of a Dance Central kind of guy. Alright, I actually forgot that I had this before I started playing Katamari Damacy, but we do have Katamari Damacy re-rolled. Katamari Damacy is a crazy fucking game. This whole series is pretty crazy, but it's really fun. It's actually really enjoyable. The re-rolled version, I don't know how much different this actually is. Oh, another fucking ugly inside cover. I don't know how what they do in this one to make it different or better. I do hope that they at least fix the camera controls, because that shit sucks. But also, like, not as good of a cover as the PS2 version. Look up the look at the PS2 cover for this game. It is so much better than this. I'm not even joking, you know. But we have this. I didn't remember that we had this, but we have it. But I also have the PS2 version, which has a much better cover, in my opinion. The cover for the PS2 game, much better. Next up, one of my favorite 3D platformers, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This was the first fully 3D outing for Mr. Kirby, and it was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed this one. Number 6 on my top 10 games list the year that came out. Really nice inside cover art spread. I mean, gorgeous inside cover art spread, really. But this is one that went all the way through. The bonus levels started kicking my ass a little bit, so I wanted to come back to those. Never really did. But the main story and the main stuff for this game, excellent. Definitely worth, like, this is definitely like a Switch staple. Uh-oh. Alright, so we got The Legend of Zelda Poop of the Piss? I don't know if I'm just reading that wrong, but it says Poop of the Piss here. No, it's Breath of the Wild. This was a game I bought because we first got the Switch, and everyone was saying this game was amazing. And while I do agree that the game... Oh, that's a nice inside cover art, too. I do agree that the game is very... It's probably best game of all time for people out there. But for me personally, I never really connected with this one. Maybe it's just the open and breezy nature of it. I don't know. I do know that when I'm playing a game, I do want a little bit of direction at least, you know. And this game kind of gives you zero direction for the most part. I know that there are some things that it directs you towards. I get it. I've tried it. Like, I've tried to play this game like 3 times, and I just could never really get into it. And the most recent time, I got farther than I ever got before, but it just wasn't. I just wasn't having fun. So that's why I never finished it again. But there's a lot of people out there who love this game. Legend of Zelda: Piss on My Feet. Oh, finally, a good game. Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. This was pretty fun. I gave it a B tier when I played it. I think that the frame rate should not be as bad as it is, and they still haven't patched it. But this is a pretty fun adventure. I do really like this. I know that there's some people who are like, but the original game is so much better. And it's like, well, I don't have a Game Boy or a Game Boy Color on me. I don't have the GameCube attachment for Game Boy games. So if I'm going to play this game, it's going to be this version. And this version is really nice, I gotta say. And the inside cover art, spectacular. Love that. There may or may not be a question or so related to this game. Maybe even 5 questions related to this game in a future episode of the podcast. Not that version specifically, but that game. Oh my god, another Legend of Zelda game? What am I, some sort of Laws fan? Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. I never played, it's still in its wrapping. I never played this. My parents got it for me 2 Christmases ago. I did ask for it. I did ask for it. Because I never played the game. I had a Wii and I actually never had this game. And I'm more likely to play it with actual controls than motion controls. But there you go. All favored towards Callus, I see. Well, if you just read in the Ferret Cafe section, the favorite game section is geared towards both of you. If you choose the 200-point question, it'll be a Battle for Middle-earth 2 question. If Callus chooses the 200-point question, it'll be a Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening collection. I literally put that in the Ferret Cafe section. Anyway, haven't played this one yet. We'll see how it is. Luigi's Mansion 3. A lot of people love this game. A lot of people really love this game. I don't know. Maybe there's something wrong with me. Another really great inside artwork, by the way. I don't know if there's just something wrong with me. I don't like Breath of the Wild, and I don't like Luigi's Mansion 3. So, you know, it's just one of those things. I don't know why I'm the opposite on these things, but there you go. I highly doubt that was a joke. So, if you're gonna do a joke, maybe put an emote after it. Maybe put an emote after it. All right, we're back to bad games. Mario Tennis Aces. I bought this game because I used to really like the Mario Tennis series. Mario Power Tennis on the GameCube was one of my favorites. This game was better than the Wii U one, but not by much, in my opinion. It's fine for what it is. I think the story mode is a nice addition, but it's just kind of one note, right? It's kind of not really that great. But in general, I don't know. That's actually. Oh, I think it's called Super Mario Golf or something like that, right? I don't know. Okay, I have Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle here, Gold Edition. It's still in its wrapping paper, but I decided to buy this because if you bought this and the sequel, this was free at one point. Now, you may have noticed I, for some reason, have a European version of this game. I don't know why. I don't know how. I bought it on Amazon from the same seller as the sequel, and they gave me a fucking European version. Now, I will say, it doesn't matter because the European version will play in a North American Switch, so it doesn't matter in the long run. But just kind of weird that I randomly have... I actually have 2 European games. I don't know why. I don't know how it happened. They work, so whatever. This version includes the Donkey Kong DLC. I do want to play this eventually, but I wasn't a big fan of the sequel from what I played, so I don't know if I'll actually get far in it, but eventually I do want to play it down the road. Speaking of the sequel, Mario & Rabbids Sparks of Hope Cosmic Edition. This was a Best Buy exclusive version of the game. I don't know why. I think you got like an extra cosmetic or something like that. I played a little bit of this game. Oh, look at that. I think I redeemed this code, so, you know, whatever. Fuck. I should have checked that before I opened it. I think I redeemed that code. I'm pretty sure I redeemed that code. Anyway, what I played the game was fine. I got like past the first area, and I wasn't like super into it, and I said, oh, I'll get back to it. Never did. Kind of how it goes. Grant Kirkhope made the music for this game, and he actually won an award for it, so let's go. We're in our Mario-themed era right now, folks. We got Mario Party Superstars. This is the only Mario Party game you need on the Switch. It's fantastic. It's amazing. Probably should have been on my top 10 list the year they came out, but I decided not to put it on the top 10 list because it really is just a remake of all the Mario game, like all these different Mario games in one. I like the cover art or the artwork in here. It's actually pretty nice. But yeah, if I have friends over or if we have a party or something like that, you know we're whipping out Mario Party Superstars. It's the best version of Mario Party that we've had in quite some time. It definitely deserves to be on everyone's shelves. Very good game. And you know the pizza game's right on the front because everyone knows the pizza game is one of the best. Okay, who's ready for one of the worst games on the Switch? Drum roll, please. Blah, Mario Strikers Battle League. Yes, this is one of my least favorite games on the Switch.
What?
It was such a disappointment. I don't know what they were thinking with this bland piece of garbage. Even with the updates for the game, it just was not great. The inside cover artwork is fine, but this game is literally just nostalgia bait. If you know, you know. The original Mario Strikers plus the Wii version of that game are great. This version is poop. This is a poop game, and I did not like it at all. It's a very bland. There's really nothing going on, and there was no robots. I think the one thing that this game really suffered from was you had to choose each of the characters, and they all had their own gear system. In the original game, each character had their own team. So like Mario had a group of Toads, Bowser had the robots, Wario had like Goombas, and someone had Koopa Troopas. It had a lot of personality, it had a lot of charm. This one, each character just kind of has the same moveset. They all kind of work the same. There's some heavier characters and lighter characters, of course, but it really doesn't matter in the long run. Everyone just uses the same characters. And that's kind of when things get confusing, too, because it's like, okay, both teams can have a Mario, and they don't really look different. Poop. I wish I never bought this game. I really do. I bought it for full fucking price. All right, we're back to good. We're back to good games, folks. Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Is it a bit overpriced? Kind of. $50 is a bit much, but I think it's totally worth it for this game. I will be doing a full review of this game soon. Mario vs. Donkey Kong, this is a remake of a Game Boy Advance game that I used to play. I love the inside cover for this one as well. Very aesthetically pleasing. Could definitely see that being wallpaper. This is a great little puzzle game. Is it a bit too easy? Maybe. But the game really shines with the expert levels and the plus levels. I think those offer just the right amount of challenge. Also, not even advertised on the case. They added two-player mode to this, and the two-player mode is really fun. It's really fun. It actually changes the game up a lot. Maybe makes it a little bit easier at times, but still a really fun game. I really enjoy this game. It was really good. It's not going to be like a top 10 game, of course, but I could easily see it being nominated for Best Remake or Remaster of the Year. Definitely was a good time. Love the music. It's a good one. Definitely, if you haven't bought this yet, I would definitely recommend getting it. If you're waiting for a sale, I understand, but it is that good. I think it is really good. Callus would agree. Metroid Dread. This was one of the first Metroid games that I got since the GameCube era with Metroid Prime, and I really was enjoying it, but for some reason I fell off of it, mate. The inside artwork is really nice. I love that. It's a nice aesthetic there. I do plan on playing this for Halloween this year, so get ready for that. We're going to start with square one. I was a little bit disappointed, or maybe not, maybe more like frustrated, that the some of the rooms in this, that like boss battles, were really annoyingly difficult, and I know it just gets harder from where I was. But I stopped playing this when I was attacked by two of those thingamabobs at once, and I got past it, but I was so annoyed that I put the game down and I never picked it up again. But I am planning on either replaying it this year or next year for Halloween. So there you go. A little bit of foreshadowing. Moving Out. This is a game that me and the significant other played at PAX, and we actually won little Moving Out cardboard boxes like plushies. And this one has an okay inside artwork. It's not like amazing, but this one is essentially a co-op game where you move pieces of furniture to a moving truck and you try to place it in a way that you can fill the most amount of furniture into it. The second game is better in general, but this wasn't bad. I think the main reason people didn't like it is because it didn't have online multiplayer. The second game did have online multiplayer. It also had better physics and stuff like that, but this was good. This was a good start. It was enjoyable. Here's a game that I got as a gift from the one and only Greedy Waffles. I think it was like 3 years ago at this point. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. This is just a Smash Brothers clone. Even though this was disgusting inside cover there. Even though it was relatively fun, the second game blew this one out of the water so much that I probably won't ever play this game again. But it was still a good first attempt, I will say. Still was a good first attempt. Also, the second game doesn't have Cat Dog in it. Like, what the fuck? So, you know, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawls 2, even though it's a good game in general, okay, the second game is definitely much better than this one. The second game has, like, a whole voice acting cast. It has the roguelite mode, you know, all that stuff. So, you know, there we go. It was fun for the couple times that I played it, but like I said, the second game is just so much better. And I don't have the second game on the Switch. I have it on PS5, so that's not going to be in this video. You know, there have been some stinkers on the Switch, and we've already talked about one of them, and the other one is Nintendo Switch Sports. Obviously, this was another cash grab attempt by Nintendo to reach that nostalgia of the Wii Sports. Not a great inside cover. You know a game's bad when it doesn't have a good inside cover. The back cover is also just really bland, really a nothing background cover. I don't understand what they're going for here. This game is infamous for coming with a leg strap, which I do have. But, oh shit! I accidentally bumped my camera there. But this was just bad. The most fun sport on here was badminton, and even then, it wasn't great. It's just one of those games that I was very disappointed with it early on, and after losing a match of badminton, I said, well, that's enough. Callus, I don't even have your new address. I have your old one. That counts. Overcooked. This is a very fun multiplayer cooking game. It's what inspired Plate Up, but it's not like Plate Up. It's a little bit more chaotic. It's a little bit less. It's not roguelite. Not a great inside cover. Let's be honest there. Also not a great outside cover either. The second game also came out. I think that this one's better than the second game in my opinion, but still a pretty fun cooking game. It's come to all platforms, but you know, still a pretty good one there. All right, last year they re-released 2 games on the Switch. Well, actually they re-released like 3, but 2 of them was Pikmin 1 and 2. I don't have the third game on Switch. So, you know, I want to get that. I will get that when it's on sale. But Pikmin 1 and 2, 1 plus 2, I waited for the physical version to come out because the digital version released before Pikmin 4, but the physical one came out like in October, a little bit after the original Pikmin. Inside cover, very nice reversible cover there. I cannot wait to try out these games. I have not played the original Pikmin since the GameCube era and when I was a small child, so that'll be interesting. I never played the second one, but I am glad that they gave this a physical version. So there you go. As I said before, I have like 100 game pouch that I keep all my games in, because I keep my Switch games in a cabinet. I don't display them because I don't have enough room. So I keep all my games in a little game pouch that I have beside my Switch. All right, folks, you know it. You know I love it. It's Pikmin 4, baby. Pikmin 4, the GOAT, the game of the year from last year. Much deserved. Pikmin 4, amazing game. I love Ochi. I love the level design. Inside cover, not great, but that's okay because the game itself is amazing. I love this game. It is so good. I have a poster that I totally did not steal from GameStop in my office right now, in my streaming room. To everyone who played the Game of the Year competition or contest at the beginning of this year, this was the most obvious Game of the Year that I ever had in my entire lifetime, and no one got it. But that's okay. As long as people know that Pikmin 4 is the best game on the Switch right now, and they should all buy it right now, that's all that matters. Okay. Bananas! We're on the final stack, folks. Next up is Paper Mario, the Origami King. This game started off being really fun and really quirky. Also has a really nice inside cover spread. I do like that a lot. The ring battle system really just started to annoy me by the end of it all. And it's unfortunate because I think the game was really strong in terms of like comedy and writing and a lot of the level design. I liked throwing the paper at the holes in the world to fix them, but the battle system was just it got so redundant after a while. Also, Bobby here could have been like a really nice, unique character, but he's just a Bob-omb. And any of the unique characters that are in this game, like the princess and prince, they end up like I believe both of them die at the end of the game. So like there's not even a new character introduced in this game that'll stick around in the Mario universe. It's just kind of sad because the original like Paper Mario games have so much charm and so many unique characters, and this one's just a very bland, like in terms of character design, very bland but very fun story. But in the end, the ring battle system was really the thing that kind of ended this one in a bit of a negative space, but I think it was still fun. I think I still gave it like a B tier. I still enjoyed it as my first Paper Mario game that I beat. It was fine, but you know they could have done something. They should have just went back to the original Paper Mario formula for the battle system. That being said, there is a remake or a remaster of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, and I think I'm gonna buy that right away, because everyone's saying like buy this version of the game because it'll tell Nintendo which version of Paper Mario we want. And if we make the Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door one of the best-selling Switch games or best-selling Paper Mario games, maybe they'll go back to that formula. I don't know if it'll work, but I think that having a remake of that game is great because the game is a pretty pricey one. I got the Thousand Year Door for my birthday from the crew, from my fans, I guess you could say, from the community, which was really nice of them. Really nice gift. Like I said, it's an expensive GameCube game though. So once they bring it to Switch, I'm sure that value will go a little bit down, but it'll be nice to have a new physical version to get. Okay, Pokemon Legends Arceus. I played like 10 hours straight of this game, and then I got bored. Which is not saying much because a lot of Pokemon games kind of goes the same way for me. This was a pretty cool attempt to do something different, though, with the formula, which I thought that they were going to keep for their next game, but they did not, so I did not buy it. The inside artwork is nice for this one. It's a map. It's like a map of the area. I thought this was a really cool concept of just walking around the world, capturing Pokemon, battling in real time, stuff like that. I thought that it was a great idea, and I think they need to do more games like this. The problem is that I'm not really a big Pokemon guy. I used to be. I love Red and Ruby Red, or whatever it was called, Ruby Sapphire. But yeah, I'm just not into them anymore. And I think it's just because they become so long and bloated at this point. And also, I don't really know a lot of the Pokemon that are in these games, which leads me into Pokemon Sword, which is still in the wrapping. I never played this because I just was not interested in the game really, and maybe eventually down the road I'll unwrap it and play it on stream or something. But I just, when I saw the new Pokemon designs for this game, I was like, yeah, I'm good. But that being said, I'm sure it's fine. You know, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure someone out there really loves this game. I'm sure. I never opened it. I never wanted to open it. We got it for Christmas a while ago, so you know that's why I never opened it. All right, this is a weird one. Rabbids Party of Legends. This is a party game that was like $10 at Best Buy. Not great inside artwork there. It was like $10 at Best Buy, and I said why not? We said why not? We bought 2 copies of the game, one as a gift and one for us, and we actually never played it. And I'm sure there's not a great reason why. We just unwrapped it and never put it into the Switch. But I mean, what do you expect from a $10 game, right? It's a party game with Rabbids. I think Rabbids are kind of out of style at this point. I don't think the Rabbids are as popular as they were back in the Wii era, especially with the Minions coming out now. But Rabbids Party of Legends, it's in my collection. But if we're going to talk about Rabbids, we got to talk about one of the best goddamn 2D platformers ever, Rayman Legends. This is the definitive edition on the Switch. It originally came out on the Wii U, where you could use the gamepad to move objects with your finger on the gamepad, which was one of my favorite Wii U games, probably my favorite Wii U game. Rayman Legends, it has the same style where you can, if you're in handheld mode, you can do the touch things, but you also do button prompts for moving the little guy up and down if you're using a controller. And yeah, this is like one of the best platformers I've ever played. Just a plain white inside artwork for this one. When this came to Switch and I got a Switch, I knew I had to get this because this was one of my favorite games, one of my favorite 2D platformers. It's so much fun. The music levels are great. The collectibles are amazing, like really fun to grab. The boss battles are pretty fun too. And it also has a game mode called Kung Foot. I mean, come on, Kung Foot? Goated. Actually goated, not even a joke. My stack is going to fall over. Okay, we're good. Here's a game I got for Christmas last year. I didn't get around to playing it, but Samba de Amigo Party Central. This is the newest Samba de Amigo game. It's a series that I really thought that they should... Oh, God, another plain white inside. It's one of those games that I really was wishing they were going to bring back, and they did. I just never got around to playing it. I think it's a pretty fun rhythm game. Back in the Wii era, they actually sold a version of this game with maracas you could attach to your Wii remote and nunchuck, which was kind of funny. This one doesn't have that, of course, but it's the same concept where you rattle or shake your controller in the different positions. I think there's also some mini games included in here as well. Like I said, didn't get around to playing it, but I do want to in the near future. Classic alert. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the video game, complete edition. This was a delisted game for some time, and when Limited Run Games re-released this game, I immediately scooped it up, and I thought that it was going to also be a very limited release, but it actually had a very big release, so the price of this game is not going to get any better, I don't think, because the game is widely available now. But for some time, this is one of the most sought-after games out there. The PS4 version went for like $200 at one point, sealed. I still have my copy sealed because I did play this game back in the day, but it is a game that I would love to revisit soon, especially after watching the Netflix show. I think that this one also follows the anime or the manga much more closely than the movie did. But this is a pretty good 2D beat 'em up. I can't wait to replay it. I think the cover art is amazing for this. There you go. Okay, Splatoon 3, Splat on Me 3. This is the only Splatoon game that I've ever played. It's got some nice inside cover artwork. Let's be honest there. This is the only Splatoon game I ever played. It's decent. It was a fun time. The story mode was actually pretty good, but there was a point where I was going to play it with friends, aka Squid Daddy, and he never invited me to play after the first day that we played it. After that, and I kind of forgot that it was on my shelf. But I will say that for a third-person Nintendo shooter, it's pretty fun. I need to play more of it though. But you know, tragic. This is a game that I got the significant other for Christmas this past year. It is sponsored by SquarePants Krusty Cook-Off. This is a game that she plays all the time on her Surface, and she was always complaining that it was crashing and stuff like that. It comes with like a little poster in here of the cover, which is pretty cool. So I got her this version of the game because she was always complaining about it. I don't know how it is. I never played it myself, but it's pretty much a game. It's kind of like that one mini game from Lights, Camera, Pants, where you make the Krabby Patties and give them to customers. But it's like a fast-paced, like roguelite almost, I guess you could say. We got another game of the year, folks. SteamWorld Quest: Hand of Gilgamesh. Another European release. Like I said, I for some reason have 2 European releases. They work in the console, so it's not a problem. But it's very strange that I have 2 random European releases now. This one was a super rare game, as you can see on the front there. It came with a lot of goodies. I made a video unboxing this one, and when I played it, I was ranting and raving. It was so good. You got some playing cards in there, and a manual in there as well. This one also has some nice inside cover artwork. It's kind of hidden by all the other crap that's in here. Not crap, stuff that's in here. But if you never played... Hey, stop looking your booty, Randy. If you ever played SteamWorld Quest: Hand of Gilgamesh, it's a card-based, turn-based battler. It's amazing. I loved it so much that it was my game of the year that it came out. Not to mention it was a slow year that year, but... I think that even if other games that were big came out during this year, I still would have rated this my favorite game because it is that fun. I just really love it. I love the characters. I love the new ones that you meet. I love the enemy designs and the boss fights. And I also really enjoyed the story. Definitely worth your time, especially because pretty much all the SteamWorld games are bangers. Even the newest one that came out last year, absolute banger. This one's really good too, obviously. Uh-oh, FOMO alert. Wee woo. It's Super Mario 3D All-Stars, the game that had a limited release. Everyone bought it up, and now it goes for about $70-something online. And you can still actually find it in stores for $50. So before you go online and buy the $100 copy of this game, go to your local store and see if they still have it, because did you know that there's still copies of this game on store shelves? FYI. I like the inside artwork for this one, but it's just screenshots from the game, so it's not like that crazy. So yeah, they did the FOMO thing with this one. It was a really shitty tactic. Also, like, it's nice that we have these games available to play on the Switch. Actually, yeah, I saw like 3 copies of this game at Best Buy the other day, so it's still on shelves. I can 100% say that. It's nice to have these games, but they could have done one more, which is Mario Galaxy 2. They should have done that one. If they're gonna call this one Super Mario 3D All-Stars, you gotta put the actual 3D All-Star. And so many people say that Super Mario Galaxy 2 is better than Super Mario Galaxy 1. It's kind of crazy they didn't include that. Also, like, Super Mario 64 is... It's a great game, okay? But the game covers, like, they could have just put it into widescreen or full screen. I don't understand why they kept it in like the 12:7 ratio or whatever. They did Super Mario Sunshine and Galaxy are fine, but for some reason Super Mario 64 they kept it in like the N64 style ratio, which is really weird. This is such a mixed bag because all 3 of these games are great, you know, relatively speaking. But they just did not do enough with this collection. I mean, the biggest thing about this collection is, you can listen to the music. You can listen to the frickin' music on your Switch. Just go to YouTube. It's on the official... The OST for all 3 of these games are on YouTube. Officially on YouTube. Uh-oh. A half banger alert. The reason why I got this is for Bowser's Fury and Bowser's Fury only. Bowser's Fury is the one thing you need from this. Bowser's Fury is worth like $40 on its own. Super Mario 3D World is still fine. It's still good, but Bowser's Fury is like the shit. It's one of my favorite 3D Mario games. Probably, I mean, it probably is like my favorite 3D Mario experience really at this point. It was just so much fun. Like the world was so great. I love this inside artwork. Look at that. Kaiju Bowser staring at Mario and baby Bowser Jr. This, like, Bowser's Fury is like the new staple for 3D Mario games. I love this. I love this so much. It had the perfect amount of cat shines, had the perfect amount of levels, had a great finale. It was just one of those. It's just one of those things that's like Nintendo cooked with this. And if they had fleshed this out into a full game and just made this whole thing Bowser's Fury, I would have loved that even more. But as it stands, it's still like my favorite 3D Mario experience of all time at this point. And I don't think we're going to get another game in this same style because they already did it. And they'd like to innovate with Mario games. But really good collection, one. But really, I mean, this is really the reason why you buy this. You know what I'm saying? We're back in Mario territory. We got Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I like the cover art for this. I think it's really fun. Maybe a bit too jumbled, in my opinion. This is a pretty fun 2D platformer. I didn't get around to finishing. It has a nice inside artwork there. No Daisy on the inside, though. Like, what the fuck, man? It's really fun. I do really enjoy it. At this point, though, I'm liking Mario vs. Donkey Kong better than this game. And I think that's like a sacrilegious thing to say, and I think I'm about to be like assassinated by someone right now. It's still a great game, don't get me wrong. I just, for some reason, we started this game and I just wasn't really like, I liked it a lot, but when we started playing Mario vs. Donkey Kong, this got put on the back burner really fast. And actually it was already on the back burner since the end of the year. Eventually we'll get back to finishing it, but as of right now, you know, I still really like it. Don't get me wrong, I still really like it, but Mario vs. Donkey Kong was just, it was just, I don't know, just more fun in my opinion, for at least for two players to play, in my opinion. All right, we're getting close to the end, folks. Super Mario Maker 2. This is a bit of a disappointing game for me. It's also a game that is full of not fond memories. If you know, you know. The inside cover is really nice for this one, though. I had the original Mario Maker on Wii U. The original Mario Maker with the touchpad and the Wii U gamepad is really good. The original Super Mario Maker was on my top 10 list the year that it came out. It's now a defunct top 10 list because it's not on YouTube anymore. It's on my old channel, and I deleted that video. But it was like number 5 on my top 10 games the year that came out. This, on the other hand, just a bit awkward. It really is. Like, the whole building mechanic just isn't as good with the controller, you know. And if you're using the Switch touchscreen, it's the touchscreen on the Switch is great for like touching things, but when you like touch and drag, it just doesn't feel great. I don't know if I'm alone in that thinking, but that's just kind of how I feel about the touchscreen for the Switch. I know you can get like a stylus for it, but at that point, I wasn't really thinking of playing this game too much more after the events that transpired. But in the end, I think it was a fun little, like, you know, month of playing it, and then it's kind of been sitting on my shelf since then. But yeah, whatever. Okay, Super Mario Odyssey. This game suffers from too much collecting. Not a great inside cover. I'm not gonna lie. I like how the lyrics are on here, but not a great inside cover artwork in my opinion. I really like this game. It's like an A tier or whatever, or B tier, A tier. But it just has way too many fucking moons to collect, and most of them are just like in the middle of fucking nowhere. Not even that hard to get to. I do like the main base game where you're going to each world. It's good. It's just not my favorite 3D Mario adventure. I think I said this on an episode of Ferret 64 with Callus. I would actually play Mario 64 again over Mario Odyssey, honestly. It's good. I like it a lot, but in terms of like if I wanted to dive in and collect everything in this game, it's one of those things that like I'm not ready for that kind of commitment. You know, I'm just not ready for that kind of commitment. All right, stinker alert. Super Mario Party. This was the first Mario Party game on the Switch. Not bad inside cover. I'm not gonna lie, not bad. This game suffers from an awkward period where they went from Mario Party 11, which was kind of like the worst received Mario Party ever, and they knew that they had to reinvent the wheel, but they also needed to use all the functions of the Joy-Con they possibly could. So they were like, what better than to make a Mario Party game based around using a single Joy-Con? The main problem with this game is the buddy system, and it only costs like 10 coins to get a star. Also, there's only like 3 or 4 maps in the game to play. I feel like there's also not really a lot of variety in the mini games either. It's just it's a really disappointing Mario Party. Even though it's still fun, it's still a bit disappointing, and it's also a bit crazy at times too, like not in a good way. Like I said before, Mario Party Superstars, that's where it's at. Okay, this is a game that I got from Greedy Waffles for Christmas. Once again, thank you to him. I am planning on playing this year. Don't worry. It hasn't been opened yet. I'm waiting for a little bit before playing this because I know it's going to be a bit of a long adventure, and I want to get finished with Neo before we start this. But I am excited to play it. First time playing Super Mario RPG. I know a lot of people were kind of like, oh, what's with this cover art? I actually kind of like the aesthetic of this cover art. I think it's actually not too bad. I know that the original game has a bit of a cooler cover art to it, and I know that the original game also has like a subtitle on there. I don't know why they took that out, but it is really crazy that we got a remake for this in this day and age, because Nintendo really doesn't, listen to the fans very often. But I am very glad that the Greedy Waffles got this for me. I can't wait to play it. So there you go. Can't wait. Uh-oh, banger alert. It's Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the last fighting game you will ever need. Everyone is here. They went all out with this. I like the inside artwork here. I like how the Switch game will slide in here over the Smash Bros. Logo. Who's your main on Smash Bros? Put it in the chat right now. I usually go with Donkey Kong or Diddy Kong. Last time I was playing, I was really enjoying playing as Captain Falcon. But that's just me as a melee player, being kind of one note there. Had a lot of good DLC fighters as well. You're right, Lukester. A lot of fun DLC fighters. Obviously, Banjo-Kazooie was a great addition to this game. There's a lot of great characters in this game. I did start playing as Banjo-Kazooie a lot more during my end time with this game. But at this point, I really don't have anything else to do in this game except fight. And like there does come a point where it's like, okay, I've done like a million fucking fights, But still, I mean, this is a great game. I don't like, where do they go from here? Like there really is nowhere to go from here, and you know that Nintendo wants to milk this series even more so after this. So we'll see what happens. But as of this point, if this is the last Smash Bros. Game we ever get, and if it might be re-released on future consoles. But if this is the last Super Smash Bros. Game we ever get, it went out on a very high note. Uh-oh, banger alert. No, I'm kidding. Ty the Tasmanian Tiger and Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 2 combo pack. It's a great, I mean, I like these 3D, the first 3D platformer was great. We haven't played the second one yet. The main thing that I love about this version of the game is that it came with a USB stick boomerang. Like, how fucking crazy is that? Oh, shucks. Don't look at that. Also, not bad inside artwork there. I believe all 4 of these games have a physical version, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 2. I'm gonna have to redeem that code after this podcast. I might put this game like over here to remind myself. But I liked the first game enough. I thought it was good. A little bit awkward, and I hope that they improved Tie 2. The West of Loathing. This is another limited run release that I got while I was at PAX, and I really enjoyed this game. I didn't actually get around to playing it until last year, but it was a really fun adventure. Harkens back to the days of the Kingdom of Loathing, which is a online game that is still up and running at this point, which is actually pretty crazy. I love the inside artwork here with the little dashes around the game case where the game cartridge goes. Also, if you notice, the inside cover has the name of the game backwards. Everything is mirrored backwards. That's pretty fucking funny. I love the humor of these games. Also, this is just a big joke, but the concept art versus the final artwork is so fucking funny. The guy who makes this game really knows how to do comedy with his basic sketch drawings of these characters, and the concept art being super well modeled. It's so I love this shit so much. I think they do this guy does such a great job with his games. I have not gotten around to playing the newest one, which was what was it called? The Shadows Over Loathing. But I definitely want to play that eventually. This game is great, though. All right. WarioWare, get it together. We got a couple more games here now. This was fine. I liked how many micro games were in this one. Also, amazing inside artwork. If you did not know, amazing inside artwork. This one was fine. I think that in terms of WarioWare games, it's not the worst, but it's also not the best. It's kind of average in my opinion. I like the idea, but I think in concept when you're playing it, it really isn't that great, because a lot of the games just kind of go the same way, where it's okay, we've done this concept 3 times now in a row. I like the idea of having all the different characters doing something different and whatever, but in terms of WarioWare games, not the most fun, but also not bad. I think that it was fine. A little bit overpriced when it came out. Definitely overpriced when it came out. I think it was $60. Another new game in my collection, WarioWare Move It. I know I said that I was going to play Smooth Moves for my birthday, but I realized that the setup for the Wii with motion controls might be a bit challenging, so I'll have to test it out. But if that doesn't work out, we'll be playing WarioWare Move It, which is pretty much a sequel to Smooth Moves, a direct sequel. Use the Wii remotes to do not the Wii remotes, use the Switch remotes to do stuff. This one is still in the packaging, haven't played it yet. Excited to play it though. Oh, yeah. This is the last game. We've made it, folks. We've lost a couple people along the way, but we finally made it. Yoshi's Crafted World. Cal said something about them not reprinting this game. And I can see why, because this game was pretty basic. Not the worst thing I've ever played, but also not the most entertaining thing I've ever played, I will say. Maybe a little bit too easy. I like the art style, though. I think that the art style is good. The cover is fine. The inside artwork, not my favorite thing ever. It's pretty much just how the controls work for the game. But that's the last game for the collection. Yoshi's Crafted World. It's fine. It's cute. Not my favorite thing, though. Not my favorite game. And that's it. Wow. We did it, folks. So yeah, yeah, I gotta buy a physical version of Pikmin 3 here before they shoot up in price. They didn't have it at Best Buy this last time I went. I don't think they're ever gonna restock it. So that is that, folks. That's my Switch collection. And like I said, the Switch collection is not super big. That's gonna take 5 years for me to get through it. But it's also not super small. Like I said before, it's one of those games that one of those consoles that I've only collected physical games on, and only games that I've really wanted, you know? I'm not, a lot of games on the PS4 and PS5, if I ever do, rundowns of the games on there, that I own physically for those. There's a lot of games that are like, oh, and here's a shit game that I bought from GameStop for $2. You know, it's there's a lot of games like that I've had for a long time that just aren't good, right? So the Switch collection, I think, is my Switch collection at least is a really solid collection of games. You know, there's of course a couple stinkers in there. I mean, what collection won't have a couple stinkers? But in general, I do like my collection of Switch games. I think it's a nice collection. And like I said before, I really only have like 4 or 5 digital games. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came with the Switch digitally, so like there's really nothing I could do about that. And then there's a couple other games that were digital-only Switch releases at the time that I bought because I wanted to buy them. Oh, I also have Defend Your Castle on Switch digitally, which is one of my favorite old school like Flash games, where you like pick up the stick people and throw them and defend your castle. That's a classic. That really is. I knew I had to get that when that came to Switch. But other than that, that's it, folks. I really appreciate you sticking around and having fun with me. We will be back in 2 weeks. If everything goes smoothly, we will be doing the Grand Jeopardy game. It's been a lot of build up for that, and the contestants now have 2 extra weeks. About 2 extra weeks to really study up. And I will say, do some studying. Don't just go into it blindly because you're just gonna look like a fool, and I don't want that to happen. Okay, I've designed the questions to be, you know, both hard and easy. You know, just like Jeopardy, you got easier questions, harder questions. Study up on those topics. You know, it's a lot of it is just general stuff. You know, so it's not like it's gonna be that in depth, but definitely study up on your favorite games. I will say, yeah. If you don't get all your questions right for your favorite games, everyone's going to point and laugh, and no one wants that. But I will talk about the entire rule set next time we're around here, which is going to be in 2 weeks. If you're listening to this on the VOD, I appreciate that. The VOD comes out a week after the episode airs. If you want to be here live and have fun with us live, talk in the chat live. I do read mostly every comment that comes by. I don't always respond because I'm in the middle of a thought or whatever. But I do appreciate people being here. Yeah, if you want to tune in live, it starts at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Thursdays, every other Thursday. So if you want to be here for the live episode, we're here. We're live. We're doing it, folks. I also do a podcast called Film Freaks with a Z, which comes out the day after this episode is live streamed. This next episode is about Batman and Robin from 1997. It's a pretty fun episode, if you want to check that out. Also, I do Ferret 64, which is on the weekend. We have a lot of games to talk about this weekend. Not a lot of games that I've beaten, but a lot of games I started playing. So I'm kind of in that part of the year where it's like a lot of games are coming out and I want to play all of them, and I start buying them. And I need to cut back a little bit because I overspent this month, which is why I didn't get the DLC for Dead Island and stuff like that. I just, you know, it's one of those things. I did a bit of an oopsie, overspent. Oops. Because I wasn't expecting to get Skull and Bones. That's the thing. I wasn't expecting to get Skull and Bones. I ended up getting that. That's a $70 game. I know what you're saying. Oh, it's gonna be on. It's not worth $70. Whatever. I'm having a good time with it at least. You know. But I wasn't expecting to do that, so I went over budget, which I'm trying to kind of do better with that, obviously. So. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I much appreciate that. I will see you all on Saturday for the live stream. We're playing more Neo. I'm the Ferret, and I'm out of here. Have a good night. Have a good rest of your week. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.